Next up, we've got Mike Winkleman, known by many as Beeple. Mike is an artist living in Charleston, South Carolina, who has been at the forefront of digital art for the last 20 years. He is best known for the Everydays project, in which he has created a picture from the start to finish for 14 plus years. This year, Christie's Auction House offered an NFT of a compilation of these images entitled The First 5,000 Days, which sold for $69.3 million. Welcome, Mike.
I love how both of us are shaking our head at that. Like when she said that, both of us are just like, oh my fucking God.
Mike, you put in the work for a decade plus. You taught yourself. You got better at drawing. You figured out that karma and giving worked. Your earliest breakthroughs were through these, visual jockeying, kind of video jockeying for the music world. I see a lot of people have anytime you're going to do something like sell a piece of digital art, first and early, when the world knows nothing about NFTs, for that kind of number, of course, we have to have compassion for society to have a ridiculous overreaction in the other way, saying, who is this guy that's a bull? Makes sense. On the flip side, for me, I see a very different story. I see a man who committed to his craft, who did it for 14 years, who got better and better at his craft, who had the natural storytelling talent, and then recognized an innovation change that he was able to apply against and built momentum. Thoughts?
I think you forgot the luck part there. There's a little luck.
Listen, people that work hard push against luck, and I get why, but of course luck. You were lucky to be born. Your mom and dad had sex at the right moment. That was 400 trillion to 1, people.
There you go.
I was born in the Soviet Union and was born at a time where they were going to let people out. I mean, I'm lucky a tree didn't fall on my head.
It's true. That's true. Okay, enough about my parents having sex. Let's get it. I've got a bunch of questions too.
You're asking questions?
Yes, I have questions too. She copied me.
Respect. Go ahead.
Okay, so why did you do the VeeFriends on Ethereum?
It was, Ethereum is a platform I invested in 2017, 16. It was the place I was most comfortable with. I believe in Ethereum. I myself believe that in the platform long term. The team at NFT 42 that I decided to work with were Ethereum on-chain OGs, so they felt most comfortable. I looked at Wax. I didn't really look at Flow, mainly because I was just cheering for they had their own. I was like, Flow's busy, right? They've got NBA Top Shot. I love Rohan, but I didn't really look. I looked at Wax a little bit. I just felt, I never, I've said it already on here, I only feel comfortable in doing things I understand a little bit more. I was concerned about the gas fees. I was concerned about, the environmental aspects I spent a lot of time on. I spent time, it's where I personally felt most comfortable.
Are there any of the private blockchains that you're like excited about? It sounds like not super huge at the moment, or you just
actually yesterday I had a meeting with my team, Phil, AJ, others, and said, all right guys, now that I'm kind of like over step one, my biggest passion is to really dig deep and get my own opinions on Polkadot, Cosmos, Cardano, Solana. Like I want to really learn. Like I don't view, I think it's impossible that in 6 years, it's just Ethereum.
Yeah.
So
see, that's the thing that I'm kind of like going back and forth on, just because it's kind of like at these prices, especially, if NFTs are still around, which I do think they will be, like, I feel like Ethereum's going to be the last one to go. Like, it's going to be like, it's hard for me to imagine a private blockchain overtaking Ethereum. Like, I'm
incredibly bullish on Ethereum, but tomorrow Sally might announce something, and after 100 hours of work, I'm going to be like, oh my God. But no, I think Ethereum has crossed into the and category, meaning it's going to be Ethereum and whatever else happens.
Exactly.
That's where I feel, passionate about.
And so looking at them long term, that's why it's very hard.
Yeah, I get it. People, what
I have one more question. One more question.
I'll ask one and you jump back.
Okay.
As a human, you've had this incredibly once in a lifetime moment. You're a couple of weeks, months, a month or so plus away, removed from it. What's different? Because there has to be something. It can't all be the same. What's different today than 6 months ago? And what's exactly the same? Because I think it's, for a lot of people here, they may win the lottery. They may have something tough happen, an adversity, or something amazing happen. And I think hearing something this jarring of a life change might help somebody in what they're going through right now, which is why I ask. So what's different and what's the same?
The same is that, I don't know, I'm still like very focused on making digital art, super excited about it, and sort of like I didn't move, I didn't go buy a bunch of crazy crap. Like it's sort of, in a lot of respects, there's a lot that didn't change. What did change is now I have employees and I'm doing kind of all the same things to a degree, but on different sort of scale and sort of a different, it's just like I'm doing most of the things I was doing. Obviously I was not making physical objects before NFT, and that's a big difference from what I'm doing now. But it's kind of very similar to what I was doing before, just on, a much sort of like broader scale and with a lot more sort of like collaboration and people kind of like helping me. But otherwise it's sort of like, I don't feel like it's sort of like my life has taken a vastly different direction. It just feels like accelerated. And to be quite honest, I actually thought this would happen. Not to this level, this quickly, but I actually thought that when I hit 20 years of everydays, people would pay way more attention than they were. And so I thought that I would have some sort of like national level attention when I hit 20 years. And so it happened quicker than I thought.
Good for you.
But I was always sort of like, I'm not going to stop doing this. People will catch up to what
Were you more emotional when you saw your art in the wild in that trip that you took to Hong Kong, or more when you got your first big sale in NFT land this year? That is, by the way, I'm going to let you ask your question now, because that pause alone is what I was looking for and kind of knew it would be true.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just different. It was kind of like, it was sort of like, they're both just different forms of kind of like, they're both different forms of like external validation, but at the same time, I really feel like external validation is this fucking, it's a bittersweet. It's one of these things where it's good, but it can also be like, yeah, don't get too fucking focused on this external validation. I know when I do something that's good, and I know when I do something that's bullshit, and it has nothing to do with what other people think of it. And the more you're leaning on other people, the more it's like, But my question is,
go ahead.
Why'd you do the Dutch auctions?
I was worried that I've had people over the last 4 years want to invest in me, Mike, in a way that you can't imagine. Really special, wealthy, credible, nice people. I got very scared that a lot of them, and there's been a lot of them, would see this project for what it was, which was an incredible way to invest in all my capabilities. And I was scared that they were going to price out all of my community. And so I capped it, and it's worked out exactly the way I wanted. When I go into my Discord and I see people in there sitting with a VFriend, and I know what's it in the same fucking way that you sat there 13 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, a year or two in, and saying one day, I fucking know that VFriends is gonna be fucking huge. Disney, fucking Scooby-Doo, fucking Harry Potter, Hello Kitty. I will not rest until these characters mean a lot in popular culture. And now that my original, I feel like everybody in my community, my email, my social, I've given them a chance. Now, with the 20% that are still left on vfriends.com, and I'm still pissed you don't own me. We're gonna fight about this.
Dude,
I know you don't know how to buy NFTs. People, but now that I've given them all a chance, now next week I'll go to wealthy friends and really speak to them one-on-one and say, let me tell you what I'm gonna actually do these next 20 years and why I'd like you to buy and with the price of Ethereum right now being, I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. I'm just incredibly pumped how I did it. I left money on the table.
Yes.
But I have a royalty. So I left money on the table to make sure I took care of my community. But now I'm gonna go to work. Like the fact that I know somebody who had $6,000, bought one for $3,000, and one day is gonna sell it to somebody I know that's super wealthy. Like I can't tell you this Robin Hood-like game that I've been playing in my head, but I feel incredible today. And the fact that there's still about 20% of the inventory on the original website and you can buy it excites the shit out of me, because it feels like whoever really believes in me is gonna benefit. And you probably feel this about your original. You must feel incredible knowing that some people bought your shit early on and now are making incredible life-changing money for themselves because of the collateral impact. That's what I'm gonna do at scale.
Oh, 100%. I had a buddy who bought one for $1,000 and sold it for $200,000 and like got all of his debt. And it's just like, oh my God.
One of the reasons I held back so many tokens and then stamped them GOO, Gary originally owned, is because I'm gonna give them to my sister and my other friends who are it's gonna be game changing for them.